Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Local brewery Croucher Brewing is set to expand both in size and capacity. Māori Party co-leader and Waiariki MP Te Rotorua Flavel is welcoming New Zealander of the Year Dr Lance O'Sullivan's endorsement. And local netball legend Tiny Jameson's trophy will be up for grabs in October's Netball International between New Zealand and England. Local brewery Croucher Brewing is set to expand both in size and capacity. Co-owner Paul Croucher says his company will be moving from their Depot Street premises to a bigger location at Kotu Corner.
The brewery itself is going through an interesting stage because we're trying to move. The brewery's in a tiny old sausage factory at the moment. It's embarrassing. But we've found a beautiful site in Kotu Corner, and just perfect for a brewery. So we're hoping to move there in the next month or so. And that should help underpin continuity of supply for these businesses, but also allow us access back into markets that we've perhaps neglected a little because we're focused so much on our pubs, and we've struggled for supply. So soon we should be able to tap that demand.
New Zealander of the Year Dr Lance O'Sullivan is endorsing his belief in the Māori Party, fronting a national billboard campaign. Party co-leader and Waiariki MP Te Rotorua Flavel says Dr O'Sullivan has fast become a leader in Māoridom, and they are honoured to have his support. The billboards featuring Dr Lance O'Sullivan will also be put up in the Waiariki electorate, featuring in Rotorua, Tauranga and Mount Maunganui. Rotorua branch of Dress for Success is hoping the recent Random Acts of Likeness campaign run nationally will help raise awareness of the charity. Manager Michelle Pladle says helping women succeed in new careers or in rejoining the workforce is rewarding and important work.
What we do is we help, particularly women are a key focus for us. We're helping women get back into the workforce. Now, a lot of people, they have either not been in jobs or situations have not been good for them, and they're trying to change their life around. And it's all about helping people into financial stability. There is nothing worse than being at home, unable to have a job, and trying to get out there and get one, and you don't feel equipped. Your self-esteem can be low, confidence is just not there. So we're there to bring on that confidence, build self-esteem, so they can be successful. And once they're successful, the financial success will come to them after that.
Striking images created by photographers from New Zealand and Australia have been on display at the Energy Events Centre. The exhibition was part of the IRIS Professional Photography Awards and the New Zealand Institute of Professional Photographers National Conference. Photographer Catherine Williams says the awards have prestige and can help further the careers of Kiwi photographers.
So I'm involved in the National NZIPP board, so I help run the conference. I've also entered into the awards, and I've also been a judge as well.
What does this mean for your career if you win?
Oh, if I win, it's a fantastic thing for marketing. Just be able to put yourself out there as an award-winning photographer. It's a big deal for us, and also from a personal perspective, knowing that you're a master of your craft is really important.
Have you got any words for maybe any young people who are looking to get into photography?
Absolutely. I think going out there and speaking to photographers is really important. It's not the easiest career, but it's one that's filled with passion and excitement, and if you love it and you follow your dreams, then you'll get there.
In sport tonight, Rotorua District Councillor and Sport and Recreation Portfolio Lead Charles Sturt says tickets for Rotorua's October Netball International between New Zealand and England are proving hot items, nearly selling out. They play at the Energy Events Centre on the 28th of October as part of the New World Series. He says the game also has local significance, with the Tiny Jameson Trophy up for grabs.
Yeah, she was my first primary school teacher when I was 5, but Tiny's been a mainstay of Rotorua netball, Bay of Plenty netball. She was a New Zealand Silver Ferns coach when they won the World Championships. So Tiny's name is synonymous with netball. So the trophy that England and New Zealand will be playing for is the Tiny Jameson Trophy, which New Zealand currently holds, and I'm sure we want to defend it, particularly on home turf, with our Rotorua icon Tiny being honoured in such a way.
To your weather update now. Tonight will be showers with westerlies and an overnight low of 5. Tomorrow, Friday, early rain and then fine spells and the odd shower, cold southwesterlies, a high of 12 and a low of -1. And the outlook for Saturday, early rain and then fine spells and the odd shower, cold southwesterlies, a high of 10 and a low of -2. And the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Friday, rising to westerly 25 knots during the morning and then easing to southwest 20 knots in the afternoon and to 15 knots in the evening. Waves rising to a metre for a time with fair visibility in morning rain and then a few showers. Still to come in tonight's program, we catch up on the latest developments at Central Mall. The Rotorua Registrar of Electors wants to make sure eligible voters enrol, and we meet health guru Jason Sean Bennett.
Well, it's been 30 years in the making for the Rotorua Central Mall to be fully enclosed, and is now a building we can all be very proud of. We're going to head inside and catch up with Peter Faulkner, who is the Associate Director of Deloitte, which is one of the management companies here at the Central Mall. Hi Peter, thanks for joining us today on City News. Now, great news here down at Central Mall. We're almost at 100% occupancy, so that has to be great for yourself and the people that run the mall.
Yep, I would say, just to correct you there, we're actually 100% in the mall here. As you can see, all of the tenancies are actually either in the process of being fitted out. The last one is being fitted out now for a new tenancy just going over into the one behind us, and everything else is actually full and working very well. We have a few of the kiosks here that we're just in the process of going through the identification process for operators for those, but they're working on that, so that's all looking good.
So obviously the management team must be pretty happy with the results so far.
I would suggest that really when you look at this is probably a culmination of nearly 30 years of work and vision from the trustees and subsequently the directors of Pukeroa Urewhara Holdings. To actually have a closed mall environment has been something which they've been working for a long period of time. Now we actually have got to the stage where it's operating, and I think it's a fantastic experience. It allows us to actually have retailing independent of the weather. When you go outside in a day like yesterday, you can actually have a choice of getting soaked, getting in from the car, going from various shop to shop. Here you can actually do the whole shopping. You can sit down, have a meal in the food court and really just enjoy yourself.
Now, you mentioned we are now at 100% occupancy. What sort of challenges have you had to overcome to get to that level?
Once the mall started actually getting complete, then in effect it was really a question of just working through the best tenant mix. So it's always difficult just looking at getting the appropriate mix of tenants in here to make sure that the retail environment is actually as complete and as, I suppose, satisfying as possible. We're very lucky to have the resources of RCG, who have an extensive range of contacts through the national retail outlets, and they're actually been involved quite closely in terms of making sure that we've got the right tenant mix here. Our last tenant, which is the Life Pharmacy just over my shoulder there.
It's great, isn't it?
It is great, and to actually have a pharmacy on site here just completes the offering.
Now, obviously, with the Rotorua 2030 vision that Stevie Chadwick's introduced, it's been a good ride so far. It's only been 9 months, but there's a good buzz, there's a good positive feeling in the CBD. Do you think that feeling has transferred over to here at Central Mall?
I think it's a question of the feeling across the whole city. I think the vibes that have been coming from the mall here have been generally positive right the way through. So we are now in the process of actually integrating ourselves into the city. We've actually opened up through the Amahau opposite the Tutanikai Street intersection there. When you're standing in the mall as we are now, you look down to the city focus and you have a clear view. And it's when you look at what has happened, the likes of some of the art, some of the work that the council has done in terms of tidying up the street frontages, it looks really great. And the fountain that's actually out there just does draw the eye and actually serves to connect the mall with the CBD. And I think one of the comments I say is that we're very fortunate that in Rotorua we've actually had the ability to develop a mall such as this in the immediate proximity to the existing CBD. If it had been like a Hamilton where the base is actually way out in
it's miles out of town, isn't it?
Then in fact it had a real significant detrimental impact on the main street. So at least here, now we're full, we're starting to actually see tenants starting to look at, okay, where else can we go? Obviously they want to get close to foot traffic, so they're starting to look at the southern end of Titanic Street.
Have you had to turn away any business operators wanting to set up in here?
We are starting to get to the stage where people are saying, hey, look, we'd like to have some space in the mall. Obviously we can't, so we say, right, okay. We work very closely with the established real estate agents, so in effect they are working with those tenants and taking the inquiries forward.
Now you guys also, Deloitte also do some sponsorship of the Steamers. Talk about that if you would mind.
Well, it's actually, we provide the management services to Te Pukeroa or Whara Group. So the sponsorship that the group does, which you're referring to, is the Bay of Plenty Steamers. So we've been a sponsor and a proud sponsor of the Steamers for a number of years, and it's a great opportunity to actually support both the sporting side of it, but also to support the teams that are representing us. We get them involved in terms of the marketing activities. This year we'll have them down here in the mall, cool. Running a whole series of programs and activities that interact with the next generation of Steamers and the people who are passionate about their rugby. So we've got them here prior to one game, and then at our other site, which is the Trade Central, we'll have them there as well. So again, allowing them to interact with their community as well.
Now, just before we go, Peter, what's the feedback from the community about the fountains out there? Because this morning on the way to work, I saw kids playing in it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm sure that there's some parents who are thinking, well, fountains, kids, water, etc. But it's great. It activates the frontage of the mall here, and it does provide with the lights at night. It really does actually just add a bit of zing to it. So it just fits in with what's happening in the city.
It does. All right, awesome. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate your time. Yes.
Sure.
I have enrolled, and I certainly hope that you have too, because whether you think your vote is important, it certainly is, because it's one of the things that we can do in a free democracy. Now we're going to head inside the electoral office here down by Bunnings, and we're going to talk to Richard Marshall, and we're going to discuss the enrolments and election day and a little bit about Mamma Mia that's coming up very shortly. Hi Richard, good to have you on City News again. Now we're only, 6 weeks away from the election, September 20th.
It's coming up rather quick, yes.
So you guys obviously still keep it very busy with all the things that you're doing, especially with your election packs?
We are indeed, yes. We did our mail out a few weeks back to everyone who was enrolled on the electoral roll. We've had quite a few packs returned to us, gone no address. So for this office here, we've had just over 1,900 packs returned. What we're doing is we're trying to find those people. So if anyone didn't receive a pack in the mail, please get in touch with us so that we can update your details and make it as easy as possible for you to vote on September the 20th, election day.
So what's the best way for people to get hold of you, Richard?
They can ring our 0800 number, 0800 36 76 56, jump online at elections.org.nz, or come into our office here. We're open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're based at the Rotorua Mail Centre, 6 Waterford Street, and then come in and enrol here as well, or check their details, make sure that they are enrolled. Yeah.
And for those people that don't know, it's just across the road from Bunnings, so everyone knows what Bunnings is. Now 1,900 packs, that's quite a lot to come back.
It is.
How long is it going to take your staff to find those people, and what sort of means are you jumping on Google, are you going through the phone book, how do you find these people?
What we do is we've got field workers out in the community at the moment. People may have seen them in the City Focus, door knocking, trying to find people who aren't enrolled. So if you see someone walking around with an orange jacket on, or an orange shirt, walk up to them if you're not enrolled.
They're not a road cone?
No, they're not a road cone. And ask them if you can have an enrolling to vote application form to update your details. Yeah.
How imperative is it for our people to be enrolled?
It's really important. So when you go along to vote on election day, to make it as easy as possible for you, if you take your Easy Vote card with you, it will speed the process up. But to get an Easy Vote card, you have to be enrolled by the 20th of August, and then we'll post you one of those Easy Vote packs out in the mail.
Cool. So what do we do with this Easy Vote card?
It tears off your letter and you take it along with you to the polling booth on September 20th. Makes it much easier. They'll hand over your voting papers. They don't have to go hunting to see which roll you're on the day, and it just speeds up the process for you.
Now, out of these 1,900 people, again, who haven't enrolled or have their packs sent back,
yep.
Do you have an idea of which age groups they're in, or what age brackets?
We don't, but we do know that we're looking for around about 1,500 people for the Rotorua electorate aged between 18 and 24. So if you've got family, friends, whānau out there who are young, maybe haven't thought about enrolling, have a chat to them or get in touch with us and we can send out an enrolled into vote application form.
Now the other good news I've got here, Richard, is we've got the Waiariki roll and the Rotorua roll. How important are these documents to the election process?
They're really important, so people can come along and check that they are correctly enrolled. They may have moved house over the last few years or the last month or so, and they just need to check that they are enrolled at the right address. So come into our office here at 6 Waterford Street, check that you are enrolled at the right address. If you can't make it into our office here, you can pop into the public library and have a look at the rolls there as well. And post shops also have a copy of the latest roll.
Do many people actually come in and check them?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people come in and have a look. Yeah.
I found me. I'm up the top there.
Very good.
So we're just going to jump ship a little bit now. We obviously talked about the elections, but also you're involved with Mamma Mia. It's coming up very soon.
It is, yes.
Have you guys started the auditions?
We've got information out in the community at the moment for people who are interested in auditioning for Mamma Mia. So this is the first time in the world that the rights have been released to second-tier performers such as us, and Rotorua is one of the 10 societies in the world to have secured the rights for Mamma Mia. So auditions are coming up on the 19th and 20th of September, so also election day. And if you are interested, please let me know and we can send out some information to you.
Now you mentioned second tier. What does that mean?
Second tier is, at the moment, there's still professional productions of Mamma Mia running on the West End, in Broadway, and a worldwide tour that's still happening. Generally, while that's still happening, they don't release rights to community groups to produce a show. Mamma Mia, they've released them solely to a New Zealand group, so it's not available anywhere else in the world, which is a world first. From what we've been told, they won't be releasing the rights until at least 2030. So if anyone is thinking about being part of Mamma Mia, you've got once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do it here in Rotorua.
And we're just about out of time. Yeah, sorry, we're just about out of time, Richard, but just give us a quick synopsis of Mamma Mia.
Of Mamma Mia, if you know ABBA, it's their music. It's a fantastic storyline about a girl that falls in love with a guy. She's trying to work out who her father is, so she invites the 3 possibilities of her dad along to her wedding, and you'll have to come and see the show to find out how it ends up. It's got a twist at the end, but it's fantastic story, a lot of energy, a lot of dance, great music that everybody knows. Yeah. So for more information, jump online at rotoruamusicaltheatre.co.nz or send an email to info@rotoruamusicaltheatre.co.nz and we can send some information out to you.
Good stuff. Appreciate your time. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks, Alan.
Well, in these days when we're all very food conscious and weight conscious and so on, there's a lot of to's and fro's, pros and cons as to what we should be eating and shouldn't be eating, and this causes cancer and this doesn't, etc., etc. It's nice to find somebody who's a little bit grounded, and I think I use that word reservedly. With me is Jason Sean Bennett, who is travelling around the country. He is a Kiwi and actually he's come originally from Mount Albert in Auckland.
Indeed.
So it's homegrown stuff, this, isn't it?
It is.
In many ways.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rotorua.
Thank you.
And I know what you've got to tell us today is something that might trigger off a few things for a few people. Now, I know you're running some seminars, etc., on eating well and living longer, and that's the title of your book, of course. We'll live long anyway, we'll get into that.
Okay.
But for your awareness and consciousness of being healthier, etc., it started quite a while ago, so take us back, Jason, to the beginnings of it, because you weren't a well person, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was born at 7 months. My mum had toxemia, so I was very, very sick. I came out a little 2'9" baby, very unwell. I ended up with asthma and hay fever, allergies. I caught every flu, every bug, every virus that was going around. I ended up with bad skin, weight problems.
You weren't off to a good start at all, were you?
I weren't off to a good start, no. And I was on 16 shots of Ventolin every day. I was on Intel prevention. I was on steroid injections, and I was on breathing apparatus in and out of hospital. So once I got to the age of 20, and I'd been taking these drugs for 20 years, and I'd constantly been sick, always unwell, I kind of realised when I conceived my first child back in the mid-1980s, I thought, well, how am I going to be an effective father if I have to take drugs just to go to bed, just to wake up, to get through the day? And so I started researching, and I discovered that actually most disease is not genetic at all. And most Western disease, which is where we're living, of course, is about diet, lifestyle and environment. So once I started researching that over a period of time, I started experimenting with my diet, started looking at what the longest lived, healthiest people do, and I started putting that into practice. And after 4 years, I'd cured everything. So I'm now almost 50. I haven't had any medications for asthma. I haven't had an asthma attack, hay fever, allergies, colds, flus, no bugs, no viruses, nothing for almost 30 years. And I've done it purely just through changing my diet and my lifestyle. So
I can
medication.
honestly say you don't look 50 or nearly 50 or whatever. So
thank you.
Something's
Plastic
working.
surgery is amazing, isn't it?
Something's working for you. But obviously one of the things, as I said in my introduction, Jason, is the fact that we're very conscious in the Western world. I've got to categorise that.
Yes.
In the Western world of obesity,
Yes.
its causes and its effects too, with increases in diabetes and heart disease and so on. But is it really a matter of just going back to the basics?
It pretty much is, yeah. That's exactly what I talk about when I do my seminars and lectures, and my book is all about that as well. And when you look at what are the basic things we need to do, we need to eat less overall. We need to change what we're eating. We need more plants in our diet. We need to cut back on the alcohol and obviously give the cigarettes away. And we need to get more sleep and more rhythm and routine in our daily lives. And it's those little things that I teach people. And I've done it myself, and I've done it now with thousands of people around the world. I work with people in 9 different countries now. And it's amazing how humanity and the human species are pretty much, we're all the same. You know, if you feed the right fuel, have the right rest, the right nutrition, most problems tend to come right. So I do really common sense basic stuff, but it really, really works. It's extraordinary how quickly you can reverse people's illness and get them well just through changing those little things they do every day called breakfast, lunch and dinner.
One of the things we hear occasionally, and I know it's part of your seminar and your lifestyle, and that is fasting. Now, fasting in itself, some of it can be religious for religious reasons. Some of it can be constructive from the point of view of just stopping eating for a while and allowing the body to regenerate itself, etc. You're obviously an advocate of some sort of fasting, so where do we find the balance even in that? Because people can get very carried away and it can be dangerous.
They can be, exactly, and I'm very particular about that. I talk about that in the first book, Eat Less, Live Long. I've got a whole section in there on fasting, simply because it's been the subject that I've been asked the most about over the last 30 years, because I've fasted a lot. I've done long fasts, I've done short fasts, I regularly fast. I'm very experienced. I'm probably the most experienced person at fasting in New Zealand right now. And I talk a lot about it because people are so interested, because it's pretty much the polar opposite of how we live now, which is too much food. And too much, and too much of the wrong kind of food. So not only are we eating too much, we're not eating too much celery. We don't all sit down and eat lots and lots and lots of celery till we get full, do we? We eat all the other stuff, the hamburgers and the cola drinks and all those things. So yeah, fasting for me has been amazing, absolutely pivotal part of me healing myself. I teach people how to do it a lot. It's thoroughly researched. There's an enormous amount of science behind it. And the sheer logic of it, when you think about it and look at it, and by the way, what I talk about is regular, intelligent fasting. And so I do agree with you. You know, some fasting can be foolish and dangerous, so I'm not into that at all. So what I talk about is intelligent fasting. And when you look at human history, there was always periods up until about the Second World War where there was no food. And that happened in every race, in every culture. You know, Mother Nature would give us a tsunami or a volcano, wipe out all the food crops. So what we would then do is we would eat the food stores on the body, which is what we call body fat. So that's actually what the fuel is there for. 1 pound of body fat is about 2 days fuel, which is about 3,500 calories. So the human body is actually designed for regular breaks from food. What it's not designed for is overeating and the wrong kind of constipating, meat-rich, sugar-heavy, highly processed, low-fibre diets that we eat now.
So it's Australia's turn next. I gather you're heading from here to, once this tour is over, heading over to Australia to change their lifestyles as well and the eating style. All the very best, and we appreciate your time today, and I hope it goes well.
Thanks so much for having me.
That was health guru and best-selling author Jason Sean Bennett talking with Wayne Douglas. If you have any news or an event that TV Rotorua can support, you can call the station on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for joining us tonight. From all the team at City News, ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand.